First thing I wanted to
Harry?
say. First thing I wanted to say was, I heard that Daredevil is confirmed for 2 episodes of She-Hulk. So Matt Murdock,
Yes.
which is going to be great.
We're getting a courtroom scene.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're going to be up against each other in court, but I think there's going to be Daredevil scenes as well. It's not just Matt Murdock, which is I'm very excited to see what his MCU suit's going to look like and how different he actually is to the Netflix character. Like I started rewatching the Netflix series when I was in London, just like to fall asleep at night or whatever, and I just can't believe how good that fucking show is. Like, honestly,
Dude.
I'm watching that show and I'm like, this is the best comic book fucking TV ever. Ever.
Yeah.
All the acting in season 1. I love the filters, like how they shoot everything. It's just stunning. Like, they make New York look gritty and cold and dark and just amazing. The choreography is incredible. Like, I'm watching that show and I genuinely believe Charlie Cox is doing all this stuff, and I know he's probably not doing any of it, but it's like I believe this shit, you know. It's incredible. It's incredible. Absolutely.
I love the pacing of it, man, because I rewatched the first episode now that's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And like it's slower. Like, and all these MCU like Disney Plus shows, it's like everything's going like this, like it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
And it's like with the TV show, like you can slow it down, have some slower moments, so that when there are fight scenes, it's like they hit even harder, man. Like the fight scenes in Daredevil feel really good because they have that slow pacing leading up to it. And man, I forgot how good that show was. Like, I forgot how good Daredevil was. And I'm so happy it came back to Disney Plus. It's the only reason I put it back on. I would not have watched it again on Netflix. Just
Right, and
for
then
no reason.
And then with like all the twists and turns that occur, not just with the fight scenes, but for the fact that like you don't know what's going to happen, especially with a crazy person like Kingpin. That moment in the SUV when he was pissed off,
Oh, yeah.
and he didn't exactly show it until that moment when he decided to kill that guy.
Oh, dude, that scene, I only watched that scene yesterday. So good. And I was like, thank God Disney haven't like censored it or anything, because I was kind of scared for that. And I know it was like, when I got to episode 3, I was like, okay, you know, they definitely have it. You know, the bit where your man impales himself on the fence because he said Fisk's name. And I'm just like, oh yeah, Disney are going all out here, baby.
I definitely got the prompt to change my settings. They're like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here we go.
Please add a password to your account.
What do you make of on Disney Plus? They separated the Netflix shows on the like browsing feature. They didn't put it in the main MCU timeline, and they gave it its own section.
The
called
Defenders
Saga.
I think it's intelligent in a way, because it's like, let's bundle all this stuff together. I can't imagine there's too many people who are Marvel fans that don't know that these shows exist. Could you imagine you didn't? Imagine you didn't know that these shows exist and you're like, whoa, what the hell? We just got like 7 new shows. What the hell's going on? You know, it'd be like, it'd be in your element, you know? But I do think
Disney's the best.
Yeah. How quick are they doing all this stuff? But I do genuinely think that because, you know, Feige and stuff have confirmed that it is technically a different universe. So it does make sense to me that they would not put it into the main timeline. Like, I don't know, like, even just like watching Fisk in that show, it's just like, he's just such an incredible actor, and it kind of pisses me off now thinking about like the way they kind of did him in Hawkeye when I'm going back and watching this now, because I'm just like, they're not doing this guy justice at all. They just made him out to be kind of weird a little bit, and it just didn't really work as well as I thought it was going to work. Obviously, you know, my true judgment won't be kind of declared until I see more. You know, I think he's going to pop back into Echo. He's going to be in She-Hulk, and I think they're set to start recording a Daredevil show before the end of this year, apparently, for Disney Plus. So, like, you know, I presume he's going to be, you know, main cast in that, because apparently it's going to continue on from like, they're calling it season 4, but the fact that it's from a different universe, I believe what the way that they're trying to spin it is that it's going to be very, very close to the 616. So most of the history that we've seen in the Netflix shows will still be in place, but they can just kind of pick and choose what they kind of want to softly retcon, which I think is a clever way to do it, you know, because it's like, we're not deleting those shows. Like, you still kind of need to watch them to watch Murdoch grow, but it's like, maybe he hasn't fought the hand yet or something like that, or, you know, they'll make small changes, or I think his suit's going to have yellow in it and stuff to kind of differentiate it a bit.
Well, yeah, I wanted to actually showcase that since you mentioned it.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
That's it's
Yeah.
reported that the iconic like yellow suit is going to show up in
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that bit, which I don't know. I don't know. Like the costuming is gonna be kind of interesting.
Everyone seems to be way more excited about the yellow suit than I am. I don't know if I'm just like on the small end of the spectrum here, because I don't like his yellow suit that much, man. If anything, I don't think that we've gotten a good Daredevil suit that like looks like the one on the right, and like that's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
I think Charlie Cox's, looked all right. Like his suit looked all right for the Netflix show, but it looked all right in the same way that Christian Bale's Batman's bat suit looked all right. Like it's kind of all right for the show that they were making, but it's not really the iconic look of the character. And so I'm waiting for them to give Daredevil that, I thought Ben Affleck's suit looked fire in his. As bad as that movie was, I really liked his suit in it.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about that online recently. That suit, the movie was terrible, but the suit was fire.
Yeah. And and that's Daredevil. It's a skin tight red suit that makes it like this. He looks like a psycho in it when he's coming at you. Like he's not wearing any armor or nothing. He's just coming at you. But yeah, I'm excited for this reboot. Like, you said the word soft. I think soft reboot's like the best word. And it's going to be, I love that they're doing that. I love that they're not going to bring everything for Netflix, because as much as I like the Netflix series, I don't like the way the hand was handled. There's just a couple, there's just kind of things in the Netflix show that I just didn't like love, but I just love the series overall.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just I don't know if you guys are reading the chat there, but Daz just made some good points there, just about the whole kind of canon and where does it actually lie, and it is definitely a question that I think we all want answered. Exactly how much of the Netflix shows are going to cross over into the MCU. It does, I don't know, it seems like Murdoch has been active in New York when we see him in Spider-Man, but it's like, how active is he as Daredevil? Like maybe he, like, because Peter seems to be like very shocked to see him have abilities. He obviously hasn't heard of Daredevil at all, so I'm very curious to see.
Or he doesn't know who Daredevil is, like he doesn't know the identity of him.
True.
Well, Daredevil's in where, the Bronx?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's
Kitchen. Okay, and then where is Queens in like relation to that?
I feel like Hell's Kitchen is kind of inside of Queens.
Hell's Kitchen is in Manhattan, right? It's part of like the main island, and then Queens is off the main island. Yeah, because Hell's Kitchen's around like the 42nd Street, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and Peter's from Queens.
Yeah, and Queens is like outside of Manhattan.
Gotcha.
So maybe it's more of like an uprising kind of situation. Maybe he hasn't come out with the suit yet. Maybe it's something that hasn't been out in the open just yet.
I'd like to see him back in the black suit. Like, obviously, I'm watching season 1 again, and I love the black suit. Like, it's just like an Under Armour, like black jeans and boots and a black scarf over his head. But it just looks so fucking cool. He looks so menacing, and he's just like sneaking through the shadows and shit. Like that's the Daredevil I love. I do remember, like, when the show first aired, I couldn't believe that we only saw the suit in the last like 20 seconds of the first season. I was like, oh my god, we only see the suit now, But I did like the suit. I thought it was very much like, this is what a suit would look like in the real world if this was a real world vigilante. Like, there was no kind of theatrics to it at all, and I think that kind of worked for what Daredevil was trying to do. It was trying to be a real show. There was no one with powers in the show at the start anyway. I suppose the hand gets a bit strange in season 2, and obviously Iron Fist and stuff comes in, but like when the show started, it was very kind of Batman, kind of real world, like gritty, just like a dude out there who can kick ass, and he's just a human. He's getting the shit kicked out of him in every episode, like, and that's the reason. Like, that's the reason why I love Spider-Man. I love that Peter Parker just fights adversity against everybody he goes against all the time. It's not an easy win. And Daredevil's the same. Like, he's getting lumps kicked out of him in every single episode, and it's just like you believe it. Like, it's like this guy's going up against like trained assassins and all this sort of stuff, and he's getting sliced up and stabbed and stuff, and dropping off buildings, and he's knocking himself unconscious and all. I'm like, this is real, you know. And it's so fucking entertaining to watch. My God. If there's anybody listening to this or watching this and they haven't seen those shows, please watch them, because it's unbelievable how good they are. And I gotta say, the next time we have the fucking Flood on this podcast, I'm gonna have a fight with him on air about this, because he says that Gotham is better than Daredevil, and I think he's insane. I think Daredevil is flawless, bro. Flawless. And like, I enjoyed Gotham, but I would never go back and rewatch Gotham. I think this is my like third or fourth time rewatching Daredevil now. Like, you know, it's just incredible.
Bro, I couldn't make it 3 episodes into Gotham. He's on drugs, bro. What the hell?
I like Gotham. I like Gotham. There was a lot of really cool concepts and ideas, and some of the episodes were brilliant. But it's not even on the same level as Daredevil. Yeah. Like, it's not even in the same universe. Like, it's
I agree.
Yeah.
Daredevil season 3 was incredible as well. Daz in the chat saying he loved it. Season 3, I loved everything they did with Bullseye, his whole history, how he was having psychotic breaks and everything. I thought, this is real. Again, this is like something that would happen to somebody, and if they were a trained fucking like assassin, they would go off the rails and do all this sort of crazy shit. Like, and that's terrifying, and that's what I love so much about it, you know. So the show's so fucking real. And then Kingpin as well. You know, you get a guy who grew up and had to kill his own father because he was going to kill his mother, and you know, that's I believe that this could happen to somebody, you know, like that's the path that a person like that would take. Like, and I know he's obviously a little comic book strong, but I still believe it. You know, he's a big dude, so like, I'm like, yeah, he probably could take someone's head off with a car door.
Well, that's the thing. Like with Kingpin, like you could be a strong man. Like, you can look like a big burly dude and still have like a ton of muscle underneath all that. So like, I can still believe that.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree with you though. There is some moments where it seems a little comic strong, but I believe it. And then for the fact that Kingpin, much like Thanos, when you know you see in after Endgame that some people actually agree with Thanos, and I feel like a lot of people would agree with Kingpin on what he's trying to do for his city.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, he wants to claim the city for himself, and then so does Daredevil. So it's like two opposing forces having to deal with that, and it works so well with the show, because then you're like, well, shit, Kingpin's just trying to make this a better city, but he's doing it with like evil intentions, whereas Daredevil's trying to like do the same thing, but like in his own hands. He's trying to single-handedly do it. It's weird. It's crazy, and I love it. You hear about it too. Like at the very end of season 1, he's like, "This is my city."
Yeah. And
so like Daredevil says the exact same thing later on as well. This is my city. And I love that. I love the clash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oscar Isaac did an interview on a press tour for Moon Knight, and he was speaking a different language, so I didn't actually understand what he was saying, but I just saw someone talking about the interview, and he mentions Midnight Suns, so he's mentioning Punisher and Ghost Rider and stuff like that. So I think, like, I know it was kind of already confirmed, but I think they're very close to, if not working on this stuff already. Like, like, oh my god, Frank Castle and like Ghost Rider and stuff, bro. Like, I was only saying, I had a call with a friend of mine today, and he lives over in California, and he rings me and he's like, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. I watched the Turtles. I was like, I have questions, and like, I was like, yeah, go, we should work away, like, and it's just like, I was like, bro, you've no idea the stuff that's coming. Like, I was like, if you think it's crazy now, like, wait till like Midnight Suns drops and like Doctor Strange 2 and all this stuff like starts dropping. I was like, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely,
I mean, Marvel has like 41 projects working or something like that, they said. I
think it was like 33 the last I checked, but there's probably more. There's probably more now. Oh, it's
growing.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. It's insane. But yeah, Midnight Suns, gonna be crazy.
Hey, it's Hoppin from the Marvelous Chats. You guys just got done watching a clip from our podcast, the Marvelous Chats podcast, that we put out weekly here on YouTube. We put that thing out every Monday, and so if you want to watch the full podcast that this clip came from, make sure you click on the video you see on screen or down in the description below. You can go see that podcast and see everything else we talk about in that episode, because we talk about everything Marvel, we talk about everything DCU and Star Wars. If it's kind of in the nerdum and the geekdom, we will talk about it, because that's what we are. We're just geeks and nerds, enjoying that stuff, trying to talk about our thoughts about it here on YouTube. So if you are into that idea and you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscription button. If you subscribe, we're trying to get this thing above 100, and then we'll get one of those fancy custom URLs that people get for that. Nice. And also leave a like on that video so that you can let other people know that you enjoyed the content, and YouTube will share it with people you know, or just anyone, because it's got a thumbs up. All right, that's gonna do it for the video. That's it for me shilling and trying to get you guys to do stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. Glad you guys stopped in. All right, that's gonna do it. We'll see you guys on the next one.